And welcome back to Cask 529. I'm Brian.
And I'm Shona.
Tonight, Shauna's got a little blind put together for us that I know we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's really not a blind for me. It is a blind for Brian, though. So, one of our friends was very, very nice and left us a bottle, the remaining parts of a bottle.
The remnants.
The remnants of his Double Oaked Woodford Reserve. And so we had the opportunity to taste this last Friday night. Now, granted, I just had a small pour, like a really small pour, because we were trying all those high proof ones, so I didn't want to, and so I wanted to save what was left so that we could review it. And I thought, what better way to review it than with the actual Double Oaked, because what they do is they take the Double Oaked and then they again barrel it in other oak barrels to get the Double Oaked.
Right.
For another year. And they're both at, they are both at the 90.4 proof. And so, you know, the first round, just like any bourbon oak, matured in like just the regular charred new oak barrels.
Right.
And then the second set is put into a heavily toasted and lightly charred barrel, or barrels, and that becomes the Double Oaked.
Okay.
So then they take the Double Oaked and again put it into yet another set of heavily toasted and lightly charred for an additional year to get the Double Oaked.
So the Double, the second double is basically a finish, right?
Right.
So it's kind of a, I don't know that they call it a finished bourbon, but in effect that's what it is.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
Woodford Reserve, it's a limited release. Obviously, it's only available in the 375 ml bottles. Mostly you can only get it at the distillery when they release it from the distillery, but there are a few places in Kentucky or secondary vendors sometimes can get some and sell it. I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think MSRP is like at the distillery for around the $80 mark.
For the 375.
For the 375, yes. It can go for a lot more than that on the secondary market. But the Double Oaked here in Ohio, it's normally readily available at most places. Sometimes it's a little harder to find than others, but most of the time you can find a bottle of it. And it's the full 750 ml, and it goes for $55.99.
And if you are having a pour of Woodford, that is generally what you're drinking, right? The Double Oaked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm asking this, guys, because I tend to stay away from her Woodford. It's not that I don't like it.
He's afraid he'll get his finger snapped.
Well, we talked about it here recently. We did a Woodford show.
We did.
And I liked them all. They just, none of them really had that snap, that pizzazz for me, that wow, I guess. However, I will say that Friday night when Shona had a pour of the Double Oaked, I did have just a small sip of hers. And based on that, I couldn't pick it out from tonight from that. But I can remember thinking, wow, that was really good.
Yeah. So I'm anxious to see if you can tell a difference between the two different bottles.
Double Oaked and Double Oaked.
And just to get your thoughts on them, because I know that you're not a big Woodford fan like I am. So we'll just start with number one and see how it goes.
Okay.
So on the nose, I am getting a lot of sweetness, caramel, vanilla, hints of dried fruit.
It's definitely a sweet nose.
Yeah, it's a great nose. And I'm not saying that just because it's Woodford. It truly is a good nose.
It's hard to believe that it's a sweet nose with all the oak that we know we're dealing with.
And you notice, because I have these setting on a white sheet of paper just so we could look at the color, they are pretty similar in color.
I think it could be the lighting. Just looking down into them, I would think that number 2 might be a hair darker.
Yeah, maybe just a hair.
But it could be the lighting too.
Yeah. Very sweet as it enters your palate. Finishes with a little bit of spice. Not a lot of heat or anything. A lot of sweetness.
No.
Notes of cherry.
There's a little bit of kind of a creamy texture to that.
Mm-hmm.
I do get, obviously you get oak.
Yep.
I did get a little bit of heat, but it's kind of like if you're eating something and it's peppered. You know what I mean? It's not that I wouldn't expect what I'm getting. It's a nice even, there's no spike to it. It's just even, like part of the pour. I
think what always draws me to the double oaked is in the double. And I'm hoping I get it again. I know I got it Friday night. The cherry notes that I pick up on them. But this one, I am getting the cherry note. I also feel like I'm getting a little bit of banana. It's very fruity tasting. And then some hints of cinnamon and maybe a little bit of like black pepper or something at the end.
There's a sweet in there that's a little bit different than...
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like banana nut bread almost.
Yeah, I was going to say it's different than anything I've really ever sensed.
But of course you're getting the notes of the caramel, the vanilla, the oak, a little bit of char.
It's a nice complex, not like a drastic complex, but there's a level and there's a lot of things going on at that level.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a good pour.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, which one it is, but
On the number 2?
when we did the Woodford lineup a week ago or so, did we do the double oaked?
No, it was the straight. Kentucky bourbon, the straight weeded.
Because I don't know that was a double oaked, but I didn't remember anything like that in the lineup we had.
No, there were no double oaks in it. Again, nice nose. It's a sweet. It is different.
You think that's a different nose?
Oh yeah, I think number 1 had a sweeter nose. This one, it is sweet, but it's not as fruity on the nose for me. Again, very sweet when it hits your palate. Almost the same entry note. It's very creamy, picking up the cherry. I'm getting that, and I promise I did not have banana nut bread today. I like banana nut bread, but I didn't have it. I'm getting the banana nut bread again on this one.
I don't know. I'm getting the same tone, that same note that I got on the first one. And I don't really have a word. I don't have a name for it. I can't lay my finger on it.
I feel like this one, though, for me, and we'll taste them again, but I feel like this one's finish and sweeter. It doesn't have as much of the baking spice like the cinnamon.
Wow, you thought that was
black.
sweeter.
Yeah, I did. I found it to be sweeter. I found it. Number 1 was not harsh. However, I just feel like it finished with those spice notes. Where this one.
Number 1 did?
Yeah, this one to me was just very smooth and sweet and creamy.
to me, number 2 is a little bit harsher
Oh, really?
than number 1. Now, I'll go back and taste 1 again, and it's on the finish for me, which, and I know this is odd because you and I, our palates really are very much alike, but I'm like totally opposite.
Okay. Well, we'll take a drink of water, do 2 again,
Yeah,
and do 1.
I'm gonna guess that 1 is actually gonna be the double double, but
Just because you think it finished better?
well, that's what I recall from Friday night.
Okay.
I don't remember it being. Of course, we hadn't had a lot yet because it was before the show.
It's the only one I had Friday before the show.
But I don't know. We'll see. I want to taste them both again, but
So do 2 again and then do 1.
sorry,
That way you can see.
it's your house. I'm just living in
That's
it.
right. That's right. Again, picking up that sweetness. The cherry notes there. Both of them have a cherry note for me, so they're both winners.
So that was. I'm still not ready to change my mind on which is which. That was a lot sweeter than my first sip.
Okay.
And the finish, although it was still harsh, was not nearly as harsh as it was the first time for me. I'm actually getting a lot more residual spice now that it's finished. I'm still getting it. It almost feels to be getting a little warmer. Mm-hmm. Not bad, but it's not just going away either.
Okay. I will tell you, I do like the nose on 1 better than 2. I think it has a much more appealing nose on it.
Now, if I remember right, you said 2 was a sweeter nose.
No, I'm pretty sure I
first
said
time.
1 was.
Okay.
You have to rewatch the video.
That is just so smooth. It's not, what do I want to say? It's not presenting itself like 130 proof bourbon, obviously.
Right,
Okay?
right. Yeah, it's
But
lower
I feel
proof.
like you're really getting a bang for the buck there in that it drinks like it might be a little more than 90.
Right. It does. It's full of flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great, even if that is the double double, which is, I'm still going to stick with that guess, and
Okay.
and with the added cost of that, it's still a pretty good value for what you're paying for that.
Yeah. So you'll be happy to know, since you think number 1 is the double double, that number 1 is actually the double.
Is it really?
So it's even better for the value.
Yeah. So now you probably like 2 better.
I'm not going to lie. To me, they are so similar. I feel 1 had the better nose, but 2 I feel finished a little softer without like the spicy notes and stuff.
Yeah.
Both were full of flavors. Both
they
had
are.
my cherry note. To me, they're both winners. I don't think that I could pick one over the other because they're so similar to me, honestly. However,
Other than the fact that you can get one and you can't get
right,
the other.
I can get this one for what did I say? $55.99 anytime. Where this one is a limited release, you only get half the size, and it's $80. So
However, I'm sure if we stumble across a bottle of that,
you better believe I'm going to pick it up. I am. I am. I'm going to pick it up. I'm not going to lie. I'm bringing it home. But I would never pay a secondary market price for this, knowing that this one is just as good.
Yeah, it's if this didn't exist and you were drinking the regular Woodford line,
Right.
then this would be a different story.
It definitely would be a different story.
Yeah.
They're just, for a lower proof pour,
Oh,
they are just so full of flavor.
yeah, they're fantastic for a 90 proof pour.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
to me, they're great.
Definitely, I don't know. We've had a lot of much more expensive bourbon
Not taste nearly as good.
that didn't have anywhere near the profile that has.
Yep.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, that's an incredible pour, and I understand why you like it so much.
Yeah.
Because it does present itself like more than a 90 proof.
Not heat wise, but just flavor.
Just everything that's
flavor-wise.
going on with it, yeah.
Well, good news is you can have more of that one. But
Oh,
since
thanks.
this one came in first for you, I'll go ahead and finish this one on mine, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, perfect.
Always afraid I'm going to get something over on her.
No, there's just not very much.
I know.
It's like one more pour probably.
It
Maybe
was
a pour and a
he
half.
brought you like 3/4 of a bottle.
No, he did not. Liar.
So that's what we've got here with the Woodford, the
Yeah.
Double Oaked. I think we both agree.
I'm just excited that you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am. It's not like I was dreading it, because that's never really the case when we come down here to have a beverage, a drink, a pour, a sip. But it definitely really boosted my morale up on the product
Good.
after your other Woodfords. And again, it's not like I don't like those. They just aren't. I don't know. Listen, I used to love my Bullet Orange.
Yep, you did.
I loved it. But I have a hard time going back and drinking it now because I feel like we're so far beyond that. I still enjoy it in a cocktail, but I don't know. It's just, unfortunately, it's the path we're on.
Yeah.
Our palates change.
It's fun to learn and taste different ones, though.
It is. It really is.
Yep. So, Mark, again, if you're watching, thank you so much, Mark and Casey, for bringing that.
Absolutely.
Very enjoyable. Very, very much enjoyable.
We have another product they left here that we're going to get into one of these
We
nights.
did. It'll be a new one,
Yeah.
new experience for that one, too.
Yep. So, if you have any questions, guys, drop them in the comments. And if you like what we're doing, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more of us, hit the subscribe button.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell so you'll know when we drop a new video. We're trying to stay pretty consistent.
Yep.
2 to 3 times a week dropping one. We should definitely be able to always do 2, but knock on wood. Okay, you got anything else?
I do not, no. But thank you, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Today was hump day,
Yep.
so we're almost there.
Yeah, we are.
Downhill slide now. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you.